So welcome everybody to our weekly Interfaith meeting, number 266. And a little later, I'll introduce our speaker, Yuetmi, who will talk about the Virtues Project. But just to let you know how our program proceeds, shortly we'll acknowledge the Indigenous people in the land, then we'll have some music, 7 short readings, closing music, and then I'll introduce the speaker. Just a reminder that we're trying to contribute in a particular way to build a better world. If you could stay muted when you're not talking, that would be helpful. And we're here to learn, not to convince anybody else of anything, but for example, tonight we have an opportunity to learn about the Virtues Project, and who knows when we'll get another opportunity like that. So we're here to learn. And we'd like to remind the group of this quote, which sort of switches to interfaith on its head. Instead of starting with differences and trying to solve them, we try to discover that precious point of unity where contrasting perspectives overlap and around which contending peoples can coalesce. So I would now like to ask Ahmed to acknowledge the Indigenous people.
Okay, thanks. As you know, there was a message of universal justice that is relevant to this. So I will read that message. There is widespread acknowledgement that the present-day structures of society are ill-prepared to address the needs of humanity in its current travails. Much that was widely assumed to be certain and unshakable is being questioned, and the resulting phenomenon is producing a longing for a unifying vision. The chorus of voices raised in support of oneness, equality, and justice shows how many share these aspirations for the societies. That this is a message, part of a message of Rizwan 2023 from Universal Justice. And we can see it in our society that a lot of people have different ways, different views, but they are after oneness, equality, and justice. So we acknowledge and pay respect to the past, present, and future traditional custodians and elders of this nation we call Australia, and the continuation of cultural, spiritual, and educational practices of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islanders peoples. We acknowledge Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander tribes were the first sovereign nations of the Australian continent. The Gadigal of the Eora Nation are the traditional custodians of this place we now call Sydney, and Wangal people are traditional owners of Bearwood and Olives. And I live in Koringai, the Koringai Nation's place.
Thank you, Ahmed.
Hearken, my brothers, and I will sing thee a lovely tune, a lovely melody. Once I was walking in the deep forest, and a lovely robin sang this song to me. Be not thou lonely in midst of trouble, nor be despairing in midst of woe. Rather be thankful for all thy trials, for without trials we can never grow. Be thou immovable as a mountain, a mighty peak, firm against the blast, for wind shall blow and bitter storms surround thee. thee, and all is lost if thou be not steadfast. Be thou a refuge for all who wander, be thou a haven for every homeless soul, be thou a lighthouse upon the ocean, guiding the vessels through the wind and snow. Walk thou uprightly amongst mankind, be not dependent on any living soul, for God will help thee in time of danger, and in times of sickness he will make thee whole. Show forth all meekness unto all people, put not thyself ahead of anyone, be an example unto the righteous, and in the darkness be a shining sun. Thus sang the robin in that deep forest, his song of cheer ringing through the glen. Be not thou lonely in midst of trouble, for without trials we can never grow.
Supremely standing, countless radiant glories wearing, countless heavenly weapons bearing, crowned with garlands of star clusters, robed in garb of woven lustres, breathing from his perfect presence, breaths of every subtle essence, of all heavenly odors shedding blinding brilliance, overspreading, boundless, beautiful, all spaces with his all-regarding faces. From Hindu writings.
The soul of the righteous addresses her, asking, "What maid are you, the fairest maid in form that I have ever seen?" And she replies to him, "O youth of good thoughts, good words, good deeds and conscience, I am no maiden, I am your own conscience. It is you who have loved me, when you saw a man mocking God and worshipping idols, and injuring and destroying trees. Then you would sit down to sing the gathas and sacrifice to the good waters and the fire, and to befriend the righteous who come from near or from afar." From the Zoroastrian writings.
Thy description of paradise, the Buddha continued, is beautiful, yet it is insufficient and does little justice to the glory of the Pure Land. The worldly can speak of it in a worldly way only. They use worldly similes and worldly words, but the Pure Land in which the pure life is more beautiful than thou canst say or imagine. Buddhist writings.
You were the seal of perfection, full of wisdom and flawless in beauty. You were in Eden, the garden of God. Every precious stone was your adornment, and you resided on God's holy mountain. You walked among the stones of fire. You were blameless in your ways from the day you were created until wrongdoing was found in you. Jewish writings, Torah.
Woe to you, the teachers of the law and Pharisees, you hypocrites! You are like, sorry, can you enlarge a little bit for me? I can't read it so well. Woe to you, teachers of law and Pharisees, you hypocrites! You are like withered tombs which look beautiful on the outside, but on the inside are full of dead men's bones and everything unclean. Christian writings.
Invite all to the way of the law with wisdom and beautiful preachings, and argue with them in ways that are best and most gracious. For the Lord knoweth best who have strayed from his path and who receive guidance. Islamic writing.
O my children, I fear least, bereft of the melody of the dove of heaven, ye will sink back to the shades of utter loss, and never having gazed upon the beauty of the rose, return to water and clay. O friends, abandon not the everlasting beauty for a beauty that must die, and set not your affections on this mortal world of dust. My writings.
Green fields and golden sands are all I need, are all I want. Let the wind blow hard, I don't mind. A small house and an olive tree to keep and feed my family. Let the wind blow hard, I don't mind. One day we'll all realize I'm not the only one. Just raise your eyes up and you'll be gone. To those green fields and golden sands, that's all I need, that's all I want, that's all I really need. Let the wind blow hard, I don't mind. One day we'll all realize I'm not the only one. Just raise your eyes up and you'll be gone. green fields and golden sands. That's all I need. That's all I want. That's all I need. That's all I really want.
Well, welcome everybody. Thank you to the readers, and good to see so many participants from all around the globe, and particularly Malaysia. And I'd like to welcome our presenter for tonight, who is from Malaysia, Yuetmi Ho, a Master Facilitator of the Virtues Project since 1996. And Yuetmi bridges corporate boardrooms and grassroots communities. And dedicated to community building, she believes that universal virtues are its most enduring language for societal betterment and ethical living. And Yuetmi has a Master's of Studies in Sustainability Leadership, Sustainability Studies from the University of Cambridge. And Yuetmi will be talking about the Virtues Project. Welcome, Yuetmi.
Thank you. Thank you, first of all, Colin, for this kind of introduction. And also, thank you very much, Vasanta, for enabling this. Also very, very happy to see friends from Malaysia, Australia, and a really old colleague from my old days, Deepa is also here. So I'm very pleased to be reconnecting with all of you friends. Yeah, so before I start, Colin, I just want to know how much time do I have? Do I have like about 15 minutes, 20 minutes to talk about it, and then another 15 minutes for conversation?
We've got another hour, slightly more than another hour. So if
okay, brilliant. All right, because I thought this has taken half hour. I thought I have half more hour to go. Okay, just now that I'm clear about that. So I'm going to share screen if it's okay. Right, I'll do that. Share. Right. And I hope you can see it. Yes, I'm going to make it display mode. Are you, yeah, okay, yes. Oh, you're seeing the whole thing. Oh, you shouldn't be seeing the whole thing. You should only be seeing the partial view, which is, you really shouldn't be seeing what I'm seeing. Just a sec. I tested it just now, all working well.
You can close and open the.
Or at the bottom right, just near on the slide.
I've done that. I've done that, but it's still.
Oh, okay.
Okay, let me try one more time.
Would slideshow, if you clicked on slideshow, would that help?
I've done that. You see, no, it's just that it's
okay.
showing the presenter's view. You know what I mean? So I want to get a presenter's view. It's not so much the slideshow. Let me see, presenter's view. Just now I checked it just to make sure that it's all working well, and it was. And now this, just a sec. View.
On top right, there is the icon where you can switch between the two.
That's right. Share.
The 3 dots. The 3 dots.
3 dots.
You have to have the participant open it.
Never mind. Tell you what, I'm going to do this because I don't want to waste too much time. Yeah.
That's okay. We normally do it.
Yeah, I think if you can see this, that's good enough.
Yeah.
Right, friends. So let me just close this as well so that okay, so this is slightly bigger. Right, friends. Today I'm talking about the Virtues Project, but before I do that, I just want to explain that I have this little not-for-profit, and it's called Have Hope. And we have two actually not-for-profit. One is called Have Hope, the other is Be Hope. So we do all sorts of activities through it. So today I'm speaking with you about the Virtues Project when I was asked whether I could spend some time sharing some thoughts with the friends on this Interfaith Forum. So I do not know how many of you are familiar with the Virtues Project, but it has been around for quite a while. And I know Australia has been a very big proponent of this program. If some of you have heard about it, and I know some of you have, like Chais and Usha and Ali, so please bear with me. But those of you who are hearing it for the first time, so this is something really fascinating. Yes, I've been involved with this since 1996, so it's literally 30 years, because it is such an amazing program. So the whole idea is this Virtues Project is about bringing out the best in all of us. Yeah. So I want to start with showing you, since I have a little more time than I thought I have, so I want to share with you a video, because I think a video can tell us more than all like I explained in 5 minutes. The video can show you in a much shorter time. And this is one of those beautiful videos out there that I've seen. I love it, and I'm so playing it now. So want you to think about what you see and what's interesting for you as you see watch this. So friends, any immediate thoughts or comments about it?
Well, that was so much fun, Yadmi, for a start.
This is what we call opening gambit. Okay, you start
Yes.
with something like a bang, you know.
Enjoy.
Yeah, but yeah. Sorry.
Enjoyment.
Yeah. But what happened here? What happened? Firstly, we saw this gentleman who was pretty cold, you know, if I may use that word, you know, standing at the traffic light junction, but before that, he was ignoring a child, somebody who needed his help. He was just ignoring everyone, right? And then something happened. The lady came along. And
Can I
what
say
happened
something
next?
here?
Sure, of course.
What I saw was, I mean, like you said, he was cold and unresponsive.
That's right. Sorry, is it me or?
Oh, she's
Oh,
gone.
sorry, I think I accidentally muted. What I was saying is by the lady taking his hand, and he was then he had to cross the road with her, and he saw the power of his hand, I think. And he knew that he had this gift when he did not want to help her. It's just that she needed his help, and then later he found that he had this gift. And when he saw the other guy's hands in the pocket, he didn't want. He went to ask that guy for help. I don't know. I felt that when you think that you are serving others, in the end, you are the one who is being helped actually.
Beautiful.
When you
Beautiful.
volunteer, yeah.
That's
Because
right,
you
beautiful
think you're
summary
doing
of
it for the others, but actually
Yeah.
it is you who's benefiting.
Yeah. I found this clip when I came across it so delightful. In such a short 2-3 minutes, it sort of conveys that all of us have the potential to be of service to others. But oftentimes we are maybe unaware, we have not been exposed to it, we're not used to it. So we are, we just sort of built a wall around us. But when this lady came along and just sort of insisted that he helped her, he then, like Flo, you just said, Florence, you just said, he then realized that he has it in him to be helpful to the others. And not only that, he thoroughly loved it, and so that's why he wanted to pass on that to the next guy. So this, friends, is to me what very much the Virtues Project is about. That is about to serve of service to others, and not only of service to others, but there is this. We all need to be aware that we have it all in us to be of service to the others, not just service, but potentially to be good. Just a sec. Let me now share screen again, just so that we can continue with my slide deck. Okay. Right. So as you're aware, I'm talking about virtues today. So what are virtues really? Again, this is really common knowledge. It's quality of human spirit. It's the essence of being human. These are various ways of describing what virtues are: the content of our character, the elements of human spirit, the truest expression of our souls. And of course, as Baha'is, some of us say, not Baha'is only, I think even many faiths talk about how we are all created in the image of God. So virtues are the spiritual qualities within us. Yeah. So that is the virtues, the sort of various definition of virtues. Now, what are these virtues then? Again, many of you are very familiar, I'm sure. I've just listed here just a short list. There are many more. Yeah. From confidence to consideration to humility to responsibility, self-discipline, etc., etc. A little bit of backstory. I was going to skip this. I thought I didn't have time, but I will tell you about this. So Linda Popov, the husband, Dan Popov, and Linda's brother, 3 of them in 1990s, very early 1990s, they were sitting together at their kitchen table in Canada, and we were watching the news, and suddenly what came on TV was about this van full, just a few youth in a van. They crossed the provinces of Canada on a shooting spree. They just went and shot. And so when they were caught, they were asked why do you do this? They actually sort of said that they have no meaning in their lives, there's no purpose, so they just did what they did, So now Linda is a psychologist by profession, Dan a psychiatrist by profession, and Linda's brother is a Disney high-level executive. So the 3 of them sitting around the table said, you know what? Can we do something about this? This is so meaningless. It can't be like this. why should our youth or our people feel so helpless on one hand, but on the other hand, you see so many others who are so purposeful. So they reflected, they really researched, and they did a whole lot of things. And they sort of concluded it has either to do with values or virtues. They sort of distilled it to this, and they wanted to cut it across faith, across traditions, across cultures, across the regions, and make it applicable to everyone across the world. And then they say, values changes, from group to group. For instance, a very simple example, how the Koreans and Japanese eat their noodles, they slurp as loud as possible because it conveys satisfaction and enjoyment of the food. But try doing that in this part of our part of the world, and then people look at us, so strange. So these are their value system. But virtues is universal. Like just now you saw, honesty, generosity, all these are exactly the same, of course, in different languages, but everyone recognizes this. And so when the three of them was doing their research, they concluded that it has to be the Virtues Project, not the Values Project, but the Virtues Project. And so this is how it all started. 1991, they unleashed it to the world. And then, of course, Linda went on a real promotion across the world. I learned this in Perth, Australia, in 1996 with Linda. She then went to, somehow she came across, or Dalai Lama came across this and really supported this. Oprah Winfrey, Linda was in Oprah Winfrey's, that talk show, that in the one in the early 90s, in the 1990s. And Oprah Winfrey says this has to be a guidebook, necessary guidebook for all parents, so that everyone can help their kids to lead a good life, encouraging responsible, respectful, compassionate behavior. So massive endorsement this way. Even United Nations also sort of have spoken about it in some of their forums. So what is this premise on? The Virtues concept, a Virtues Project. It's premised on two fundamental concepts. One, we are all born full of potential to be virtuous, to do good things. Like the gentleman or the guy just now in the video, he didn't know he had it in him, right? So he was cold, he was maybe aloof, but all he needed was a tap by maybe a 2-minute encounter with a lady, and then he changed because he didn't have to go around acquiring it. It was within him. It was within him. He had the potential to be it, and he became it. Now, how did it come out? Number 2, virtues emerge with encouragement and practice. So these are the fundamental concepts of this program entirely. So, which means it is therefore a very easy program for all of us to embrace, because we have it already. We just need to practice it, and then it will be awakened. So a little bit about potential. So in case some of you say, how are you sure we all have all these good things within us, good virtues within us? But if you look at the mineral kingdom, you look at the plant kingdom. I mean, plant kingdom is amazing, right? From a small, very small seed, you have the largest trees in the world. From one small seed, how could it potentially grow like that? It's because the seed has that potential. Animals have that potential. We all love animals, and I'm sure you have amazing encounters with your own pets and all. They have that potential to be really courageous, be even helpful and instinctively helping everyone. So if the mineral kingdom does that, has that quality, the plant kingdom has that potential, the animal kingdom has that, surely the human kingdom, humankind, has that too. So we are full of potential, right? I mean, if you think about it, friends, if you look at young children playing, and you can instinctively see, how a young child would help another. Just a quick story, since I have a bit of time now. My daughter is my daughter is pregnant, and she told her cousin that she's pregnant, and she was feeling a little tired, lying down on the couch. The cousin's son, who's only 2 years old, understood what was happening. When she saw my daughter lying down, nobody told him. He went to his bedroom, took out his blanket, and covered my daughter. So this, friends, Nobody told him to do it. So it's innate in him, it's instinctive in him to want to be of service to others. And then when he saw my daughter was very happy with that, he went to take his pillow as well. So this is just sharing with you the potential of even the youngest child without any guidance to do that. Now, in terms of encouragement and practice, how virtues emerge, I'm sure we all know, right? This picture on the left is a rock, and with polishing, that's what you get. And in the same way, we see virtues, we see how that's the way to awaken virtues in us. So each of us have strength virtues, and each of us have growth virtues. Right? Strength virtues are those that we have sort of developed well, and we're almost instinctive with it. You know, for some people, it's generosity. I can think of some friends right now in this space, friends, who are absolutely generous. I don't want to call you out to embarrass you, but you know who you are. Absolutely generous friends. And then there are some of us who, you know, maybe not so generous, and we need to develop this virtue. So there are strength virtues, and then there are growth virtues. We awaken it just now by saying we can practice it. But just so that we are clear, we can also overdevelop our virtues. We can overdevelop. In other words, we can be so determined, determination being a virtue, that you can be inflexible, for instance. So we always say, we always work with a basket of virtues. It's moderation that's the key. You have this virtue, determination is brilliant, but always also pair it with another virtue, whether it's consideration, whether it's flexibility. So we always work with several virtues, not just one virtue, because you can overdevelop that, and then it becomes something that might be even difficult to for friends to work with you know. And so in essence, friends, virtues is the key to all your successes. I'm going to pause here for a few seconds. I want you to think back your most amazing time, or the most successful gathering or event or whatever. What did you do to make that happen? Chances are you worked very hard for it. You were very determined. You were very friendly. You were generous. You were helpful. You were kind. So all those virtues were in place for it to be successful. And if you think of a time maybe when you didn't do so well, you know, if you pause and think, what was lacking? What could you have done better? Instinctively, you will also be talking about virtues. Oh, I should have done this. I should have, you know, I should have been more kind. I should have been more helpful. I should have been more determined. I should have been more, you know, maybe behave with more integrity, for instance, right? I always say that even in the context of burglars, when people do bad things, even bad acts need virtues for them to be successful. So imagine a burglar comes to your house, wants to rob you, your house is locked. The only way he could enter is for him to be determined, right? To be creative, determined, and try to figure out ways before he go in. Imagine if you were to just walk away and say, oh, I can't go in, and then he walks away. So even in negative acts, you need determination to be successful. Yeah. Let me see. Okay, so I'm going to sort of finish it and then pause for questions, right? So this Virtuous Project has 5 strategies. I'm going to really whiz this through, because usually I do this for about at least 2 hours, you know, but today I'm cutting it short, and I'm putting in an activity at the end of it, which means I'm cutting it even shorter. So friends, there are 5 elements or strategies to this Virtuous Project, and I'm going to walk through them one by one. So the first strategy is language of virtues. I think most of us in this group, in this space, are familiar with the power of language, right? Language can either uplift a person, inspire a person, or we can really shame and, you know, discourage a person. So in this program, we are taught how to use this language of virtues to encourage and inspire. So I have just shown, have a few slides here just to show some examples how we can do that. I'm really cutting it short, friends. In a proper program, like I said, I will flesh it out or show more examples. So we can acknowledge and thank friends by saying it this way. The important thing is to have the virtue, whatever you see in a friend, and call that out. You were really patient to wait so long for service. Thank you for being so flexible about changing the time. Always use the virtue. Now, the reason why we do that is because, especially working with children, can you imagine if a child gave you a drink and then you say, thank you? So, of course, that's fine. Most of us say that, right? But imagine if you say, thank you, so-and-so. That was so helpful of you. So when you label that act of the child with this virtue, the child will then go away, just like that man, realizing that she has helpfulness, the virtue of helpfulness within her. She then said, hey, this is helpfulness. I have it within me. And this is something that others really appreciate. So when you call out the virtue, it helps the child process this and anchor this a little bit more in their understanding. Even in adults, the same thing. You know, I always, when my colleagues come to me and say, hey, thank you for the bonus, boss, whatever. I say, don't thank me, go and thank so-and-so, the person who actually approved all the bonuses. You want to encourage him to continue to make all these payments to all of you. So even in adults, we need to encourage good behavior, right? Similarly, guide. You know, some people say, oh, just because we are using such nice language, people will walk all over us. So my answer to that is, and our answer to that is, no, we can use virtuous language to guide. Please be considerate about coming on time. How can we show courtesy to her, you know? And then we can use virtues to correct. If you see someone who's very unkind, say, please be kind when you coach colleagues who need more attention. What is a respectful way to say that? All right. Yeah. So these are the three various, not three, but various ways of using the language of virtues. Strategy number 2. So apart from using the language of virtues, this program teaches us how to recognize moments that are very critical, that it becomes a learning moment for us or a teachable moment for us. So this is very much part of it. Now, why is teachable moment or learning moment so important? Because every experience, negative or positive, can aid in growth and development. When we reflect on difficult experiences, it helps us to process our thoughts about understanding strengths or maybe opportunities or maybe areas of development on our part. And it's not about guilt. It's certainly not about guilt. Because guilt is actually very, I'm sure we all know, right? Guilt is an egoistical behavior, because guilt only immobilizes. It doesn't do anything except immobilize. But when you move on and you do something about it, then it's more positive, right? And so the purpose of a teachable moment or learning moment is to create understanding. Okay, so again, because we don't have much time, but I'd like you to just think for a moment. Think of your shining moment. What virtues were present? That was a teachable moment. Think of a challenging moment of yours, something that maybe you just had an argument with someone. What virtues were missing? That was your teachable moment. So every time things happen, we should pause and reflect and ask ourselves, okay, I didn't do so well this time, but what virtues were missing? What could I have done differently? And then use this to do better the next time. So that's strategy number 2, recognizing our teachable moments. Before reaching this point, again, friends would have said, but, that means, people will climb all over us. We are just so kind to ourselves, kind to everyone. People walk all over us. Then I'll tell them, no. Third strategy talks about setting clear boundaries. And boundaries should be based on respect and justice, restorative justice, and so that we can identify what's minimum and what's not tolerated, and how amends can be made. So the third strategy teaches us about that. So how do we do it? We give a boundary. We are clear about boundaries. All right. So for instance, I'm going to show some example about boundaries in a while. But boundaries, once you've set the boundary between mother and child, between even spouses, set the boundary. And then what are ground rules? What does it look like? And then consequences if it doesn't follow through. So, like I said, I've been doing this for 30 years. I've heard many, many stories. One of which is this child and the mother, they sort of set their curfew, quite a young teenager, curfew, that on Saturdays, he must be back by 12 o'clock. So that's the boundary. And sorry, boundary is he must come home on time. Ground rules is come back by 12 o'clock. Now, what happens if he doesn't come back at 12 o'clock, by 12 o'clock? Then he can't go out the next weekend. So all this is done, or this discussion is held when everyone's calm and happy, and not when everyone's all frazzled. So when everyone's having a good time and all, this is a good time to set clear boundaries. And we shouldn't have too many boundaries. There should be 5 or 6 boundaries maximum, and that's it. And then work with these boundaries. Now, for this particular child, the mother told us that he, on one particular Saturday night, you could see he ran all the way back just so that he can reach home by 12, just before 12. Because what has happened is the mother-child creating they co-develop the boundaries, and when they co-develop the boundaries, they are, both have ownership to it. The child has ownership as well. So the child therefore wanted to fulfill it and meet the deadline as set. Okay, so set clear boundaries. There are 2 types of boundaries. One is for ourselves, because people could walk all over us too. Sometimes, we are kind, we are gentle, we are forgiving, and then people could walk all over us. So we have to ask ourselves, what are some boundaries that we ought to set for ourselves? What do we stand for? What will we not stand for? What's our, what's my responsibility? What responsibility belong to others? Sometimes, especially as parents, we really want to take care of our kids and even our grown kids, and we sort of, creep over the scope, if you like. But really, we need to be clear. What are some clear boundaries for ourselves? What boundaries do we need in order that our life will be one of joy, confidence, and purpose? And then setting clear boundaries with others is just as important. So whether with spouses, with bosses, with whoever. So I came across this, which I love. So this side is concern for ourselves. We care for ourselves. This side is care for the others. If we don't care for others, we don't care for ourselves, we just withdraw. Whatever situation happens, we just withdraw. Okay, we don't even care for ourselves, we don't care for the others. But if we just want to care for ourselves with relative concern for others, then you want to win. It's about winning, right? But if you don't care for self, you just want to help others, then you care for others so much that you just concede. When you concede, you give in, you submit, then you have internal conflicts. The best place to be is actually collaborate, where both sides win. All right, so this is how we ought to set boundaries, friends. I'm just looking at time. I'm half hour in. So the 4th strategy is honoring the spirit. Now, this is absolutely critical. The only way we can sustain ourselves to be of service to others, to be kind to others, to be generous with others, is when ourselves, our own spirit, is in a good place. How do we sustain ourselves? And we can do that many, many ways. But it's all about connection to the sacred, to honor the light within us, to honor the spirit of ourselves, our loved ones. It's about creating space in our lives that encourages reflection, reverence, expression of beauty, and all. So many ways of doing that. So some people pray, some people meditate, some people go for walks, some people go for forest bathing, some people exercise, some people run, whatever it is. we need time out for ourselves so that we can recreate and refresh ourselves, so that we can then be of service to others. Yeah. So this honoring of our spirit is very important, but it's just as important for us, let's say in a family setting, to help our family, our children, to help them have this in their lives as well. Yeah. And finally, the fifth strategy, it's about companioning. This, friends, I've used it many, many times. It's about holding space for the others, being deeply present and listening with others. Listening with compassionate curiosity to help others find clarity. So I've friends from many parts of the world. They will call, they will be in touch with me, and they're feeling very saddened by events or something happening in their lives. And I'll say, shall we have a Zoom call? They say, yeah, why not? And so I'll get into Zoom calls with them, and I do this quite regularly for quite a few friends. I don't know what I'm not a trained psychologist nor psychiatrist, so I'm no way can I be helping anyone that way. But what I do is because I heard their conversation, I'll pull out a virtue card. And I'll have the virtue card, and we'll read together. And then, having read together the virtue card, I'll just show you what it is. Having read together the virtue card, I will then go through this process of companioning. Just gently says, what's happening? I oftentimes don't even really have to ask. They themselves would say, after reading the virtue card, they will say, this is so amazing because in my life right now, this is what I'm going through. So they will open up. Now, because I'm not a trained psychologist or no psychiatrist, I wouldn't offer any words of advice or anything. I'll just ask questions, just give receptive silence. And then they will just just share their thoughts, all right? And then at some point, when I sense that maybe they're really at the bottom and they're ready to maybe move on, then I might say, what will give you courage to move on from that? What will give you courage to move on from that? What will give you the strength to move on from that? So that would be the bottom part when I will ask the question like that. And again, I don't tell them what to do, So you said you want to do this. If this is what you think is what you want, then what will give you courage to do this? What will give you the agency to do this, So, and then it come back here again. So I do this process, friends, with many, many friends who are just in need of a deep listening by someone. And that's all I do. So friends, all of us can do that. It's no rocket science. We all can do that. So conscious of time, so this, in summary, are the 5 strategies of the Virtues Project. Maybe I'll pause here for a few minutes before we do a virtue pick, and then we have more conversation then. I'll just pause here for a moment, Colin, for questions, if any.
So if anyone has a comment or a question, preferably not a 10-minute question or comment, just a 30-second, please raise your hand. And while we're waiting...
yes, I can see Young. Is it Young? Yes.
Yes. Okay, Young, go ahead.
Young.
Thank you very much, Ms. Ho. I don't know, your project will be suitable for any major companies, because if you step into a boardroom, like for a major company that run about 8,000 employees or 10,000 employees, and if we start talking about virtual projects, they probably will have something similar like, oh, she's talking about ethical project. That more like business ethical is more closely related to their business. Then you talk about virtues, because virtues in some countries, virtue very much related to religion. I mean, like for family education, children education, the basic step in life.
Yeah.
and not for business. Because if we go into like Harvard University study or Yale American study, and then you step into major companies and we talk about virtuals, it means that they don't understand what we're talking about.
Yeah, true.
Or they not use it.
So to be honest, I brought that up before. I sit on several boards, and one is a regional financial institution. I've actually conducted virtuous project with various departments. So the idea, I think the point is you don't introduce the virtuous project for the first time to the whole boardroom, and then you'll be inundated with cynicism and all that. You work with individuals first, help them to understand what is it that we are doing. And then when what is it that we are talking about? And once they've understood that, they want this to be done. So I use this in various, I'm also a mentor for some mentees in the C-suite. I use virtual cards, I use this to talk to them and help them to articulate and speak better with their colleagues. Help them to conduct their appraisal sessions in a much positive way, but still conveying all the points, but in a positive way. So you're right. If I were to just throw this into a boardroom, there will be rejection. But it's about working and helping have small conversations first, help them to understand it, and then they will, once they have understood it, they will want it. I hope I answered your question. Deepa, I see you raise your hand, Deepa.
Sorry. Hello, Yetni. Nice to see you after so
I know.
long.
Yes, I know. 30 years, 20 years.
I don't know. I don't want to count. It's too many. But no, I just wanted to say that you were just instinctively, innately tapping into this coaching skills, to hear, to lead. That last part where you said, you just listen and take people through, it's just some coaching skills. You don't have to be a psychologist or a psychiatrist. Yeah.
Okay.
Just wanted to say that because I'm a coach these days. So yeah, so that was exactly what you're doing.
All right. Thank you. Thank you for the encouraging words. You see, you are practicing the language of virtues. Rosine from Germany.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much. I'm very grateful to be today on this platform and excited because, I like the Virtue Project. I discovered the Virtue Project, I think it was in 2004 in Chad. And that was through a Baha'i school, in a private Baha'i school where I was working as a teacher. And I was trained by I can say she was like the owner of the school. She was also Baha'i. And I was conducting the Virtue Project every morning to each class. Yeah.
Nice.
And also after that, through the Baha'i classes, I was also doing parallel the Virtue Project. And when I came to Germany, I start also the project. It was like, I think 3 years ago. So now I have 2 Baha'i classes and we are conducting also the Virtue Project. I have 1 classes at home and 1 classes to another
How amazing.
Public places here in Germany. And it was really amazing because I had this book this morning. I was reading. This is the German version of the Virtue Project. Yes, I don't know if you can see it.
Yes.
Thank
you.
So I'm so happy and
nice.
grateful to have your presentation.
So,
It's going to
so if
empower
I've said
me.
anything which is out of line, please correct me, yeah?
No, it's all perfect. I got also many informations because, and the Virtue Project is like a journey. You cannot say that you know everything.
Yeah,
All the time you
That's right.
discover every
Absolutely.
time. And in each classes, I am discovering something new and I'm developing always a new competence. And this is
Fantastic.
wonderful. It's a really wonderful, I don't know. I am grateful to those people who are working on the Virtue Project because, to be honest, after several experiences with children, I think I understood that the only way to change the world today, I mean, the miracle that everyone is waiting for, that one day the world will be unified, that all nations will come like one family. I think it is in the transformation of human nature through virtues. Is the only way. I am not expert to confirm the fact, but with the experiences, I can say that this is the only way we can hope that the world can be changed. And for example, if you see the difference in a different way, for example, through the yoga, or when you study, for example, the chakras, you will discover that at the end, the goal is to develop positive qualities. That's it. And those positive qualities can change our character. And once our character I change, what a beautiful world, because we are gonna have only beautiful souls in this planet Earth. So all the problems will disappear. We will not talk anymore about ego, about egoism, about, I don't know, all those negative attitudes which are destroying our world today. So maybe if you can give me just a small minute, I will share quick a small story. I find it really interesting. That was the story of a king who asked three of his ministers to pick up fruits from his garden. So the first, of course, by nature, Mishibushi, he tried to trick. He said, "Oh my God, how he can ask me? He can ask us to pick fruit from all those biggest garden. You know, I don't have time for this one." And he'd say, "Okay, now I will just go and collect the fruit already on the floor." So he did it. He made his basket full, and then he was already finished very quick. And the second one, he came and he was thinking, maybe I can make half on the bottom. I will put the fruits I collect from the floor, and then maybe on top, I will just get a few or nice apples and to put it, and that's it. But the third one, he was faithful, and then he took his all time. He picking the best fruit from the garden. He made his basket full of beautiful fruits. So now they arrive in front of the king. And the king say, well done. Thank you so much. And I want to explain that starting from today will be a pandemic. Yes. And everyone had to stay home for a few weeks. And in at the end, those fruits is for you. Everybody can take it for himself at home. And you guys are going to survive on this fruit. So now they realize, oh my God. So those two who try to be, I don't know, malicious, they realize, they understood that they treat themselves, you know. And the one who took his time to collect the best fruit, I mean, he was the one who was by the end the happy one. So at the end, the story is just to remind us that everything God is asking us to do, all the good things we have to learn in this planet Earth is for by the end.
That's right, in service of ourselves as well. In service of ourselves as well. Yeah. Thank you. That's really lovely. Thank you, Rosine. I see Ahmad, and then I see Cole as well.
Okay. Thanks, you and me, for that nice presentation. I very much enjoyed it. I have a question regarding the number 3, the strategy number 3. You said that set clear boundaries. Now, I particularly want to know between the parent and the child, how do you set up boundaries where it's acceptable for both? You know what I mean? You might, as a parent, set certain boundaries, but the children will not accept it.
Yeah.
Wondering how are you gonna how could you establish those things? If you could elaborate.
You asked a really good question, you know, in that the parents want different standards, the child probably want different standards, right?
Exactly.
Talking about, like, let's say the curfew time. Parents will want 12 o'clock or maybe even 10 o'clock, and then the child may want 2 o'clock, right? So, so these boundaries are usually co-developed. That's why I said, you know, when everyone's happy, you know, when the children's happy, the parents are happy, sit down together and say, you know what, we really want you to have a good time with your friends. But at the same time, we are very concerned about your safety. You know, all this happening, da, 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 da. What is the time that you think you can come back and still help us feel very comfortable and safe about you? So you have this type of consultation and then co-development of the boundary. And then after much discussion, let's say it's pinned down, then you have to take it one step further. Let's just say this boundary that we have co-developed, not my 10 o'clock, not your 2 o'clock, but we have landed at 12 o'clock. What if you come back later than 12 o'clock? Now, don't forget, right now, everyone's very happy. The violation has not happened yet. The child will say, okay, you know, I'm quite happy. Because he has participated in this process, he's quite happy to also then offer maybe some consequences. Again, maybe it's not a consequence you might like, and then you consult until you arrive at it. So we have seen this happening. We have heard many stories of how this can happen. In the right, like I said, don't do this when everyone's annoyed and angry and upset. You can't set boundaries at that point. You can't set consequences at that point. But when everyone's having a good time and at peace and very calm, that's when you do this. And then you call on it at the right time. I hope I've given the answer to you, Ahmed. Cole. And then after this, I have to continue on. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, consultation, talking with the child probably. And then
yeah,
find the middle point between.
That's right. That's right. What is right for me and for you? So it's not just right for the parents, you see, it's also right for the child. So you arrive at a good point. Cole, after you, and then I'll resume. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm Cole Coman from West Africa, Liberia to be specific. Today is my first time on this Zoom, and I was like invited by my friend Javi. And like I said, today my first time ever hearing about this Value project. And I have a question. I have two questions pertaining this Value project. Number one question is the Value project also working in Africa? And then my second question is, what are practical ways to turn value into daily habit, not just ideas?
Excellent questions.
So that's my question.
Questions, Cole. So first of all, yes, it's in all parts of the world. It's in all parts of the world, but I will probably have to check with my network where exactly in Africa it is. I know because Linda have made sure that Linda has worked with many, many friends across the world. I just now, Rosine says you were in Chad, right, Rosine? Yeah, she was in Chad. So clearly it's Rich Africa. Now, which part of Africa, we can find out more. You can just Google it, maybe, but I can also find out, Cole. That's number one. How do you incorporate them into daily habits? One, I think you have to go through this course. Once you've gone through this course, then you're more familiar with it. But more than that, there are virtual cards I'm going to show you shortly. In fact, after this, there are virtual cards to be purchased that you can then use that. So every day, apart from your prayers that you can say, you can also pick a virtual card for you to practice. So just like what Rosine said, I also conduct sessions where we pick up the virtue cards once a week, and that virtue is practiced throughout the whole week. But you know what? In this day and time, you don't even need to buy cards. You can just access it online also. There are many virtues out there, and I can even share the link of the Virtues Project website. You can go in there and you'll see a whole lot of free materials there as well. But if you want nice
Yes,
cards,
I will
of course,
appreciate it. Share it with me.
Sure, I'll share that. If you want nice cards, of course, you can purchase it. But there are also soft copies of stuff, you know. Friends, very conscious that I don't have much time left. I want to take you all through to the next session. But thank you so much for all the questions. It just made it all richer, and I think make it all come alive. Let me just share a screen. Just a sec. So, yes. So this is one thing that I often do. remember just now I said friends will call me, friends who are unhappy or, just unhappy with something, and I don't even know what it is that they're unhappy with. But what I hear is maybe a particular virtue that they need to practice. So I will then pull out a card, just like this card, and then I'll ask my friend to read it. Just read it. And then today I'm going to call my dear friend Usha to read this, and then I'm going to take you through the next few steps. Yeah.
Oh, thank you, Yetmi. So sorry. Hope. Excuse me. Hope is looking to the future with trust and faith. It is optimism in the face of adversity. Without hope, we lose our will to live fully. Hope gives us the courage to keep moving forward. It can be elusive when we have suffered often, yet it is the light that can redeem our dreams. With hope, we know we are not alone. There is always help when we are willing to ask. There are gifts to be gleaned from all that happens. With hope, we find the confidence to try and try again. The very least you can do in your life is to figure out what you hope for. And the most you can do is live inside that hope, not admire it from a distance, but live right in it, under its roof. Barbara Kingsolver. I must say the surname is most appropriate. The practice of hope, I maintain a positive attitude. I embrace my life fully. I have faith in the value of life. I have the confidence to succeed. I seek to discern life's lessons. I persevere through all conditions. I am thankful for the gift of hope. It is the light of my life.
Yeah. Thank you, Usha.
Thank
Now,
you.
because I've asked Usha to read it in the same way as I would ask my friends to read it, I will now ask Usha to actually sort of, as you're reading this, Usha, what came to mind? What resonated with you?
I think maintaining the positive attitude hit me very strongly because on a daily basis, it's so important, despite our challenges, just to stay on top of things. I like very much this thing about it can redeem our dreams. That's a really unusual phrase that we, yeah, because it says maintain and then right at the end, persevere through all conditions. I think those things struck me quite a lot. I value this session a lot, by the way. It is a recapture of something that I learned also from you many, many, many years ago. So this refreshing thing is wonderful. So to use the language of virtues, I honor you for doing this for us. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Usha. You're very kind. So any other friends, when this card was read by Usha, what resonated with you? So this is the question I would ask my friends when they come online with me. And I have, like, every last Monday of the month, I have a group of professional women. These are power league women. They all come together and have this conversation with me because Yung, just to explain to you, they are all corporate people and they are so stressed out. They said they need this type of conversations. And so they actually turn up in my space every last Monday of the month to have this type of conversation. And these are like, oncologists, there's, all sorts of people in the group. So anyway, anyone else who have want to just add a comment on hope before I move on? Anyone at all?
I'm just interested in business and some sort of finance business. If you have a 5-year plan as a business leader, will you share that 5-year plan with any of your team? Obviously, you will have to if they belong to executive team. But if they're not executive team, will you share the 5-year plan or 10-year plan with your staff? So that is what I say. open communication, honesty, and all that.
Yep.
Well, that all ethical leaders can carry out. All they
Yeah.
have to keep confidential.
So I think Deepa is shaking your head, Deepa. Why don't you try to help to respond, you being the psychologist here?
No, I'm not a psychologist. I'm just a coach. But
coach,
But
okay.
one thing, please, that I don't want people to give me false hope. Because when a false
Of
hope
course.
comes, you will know straight away. Okay?
Okay.
Even
All
a
right.
little kid, you give them false hope, they know.
Yeah, I understand. Deepa, do you want to add to that? If not, I can jump in.
Hey, you're the running the show. You give your insights. I think
Okay.
Yung wants to hear from you.
You know, I have actually, like I said, been doing this with this financial institution that I sit on the board of. I'm not a management, I sit on the board. But because they're familiar with the things I'm doing outside, they actually call me in. So I'm working with the group CEO and the group people's team to activate purpose. You see, in a corporate setting, you don't talk about virtues, you don't talk about all that. You use different language, but conveying exactly the same thing. All right. So we use the word purpose in the bank that I work with, and we use the word concept of ikigai. And we talk about why trustworthiness. Nobody will debate with me that trustworthiness is not the most important virtue. All right. Because you know what? As a bank, every single staff of ours has to be trustworthy. So if it's how I speak with the bankers and help them see this, go past the word virtue. You know, sometimes like the word religion, even the word religion can be a bad word because it's so heavy laden with history and prejudices and all that. So with them, I may not even use the word virtues, but I'll use things like, you know, we want our people to act with integrity, with authenticity, with trustworthiness. They will not say no to me. And in fact, I'm part of the team now. I'm advising the team to activate their purpose workshops with all their staff. So it works. I think, you know, that's where we come back to the first fundamental concept. Everyone actually wants to do good. It's just that they are confused sometimes, that they think the priority should only be about financials. But when you offer them alternatives like this in a way that they can understand, and in a way that it's not just either profits or virtues, but it's both, it's and profits and this, and they'll be happy to. So it's how we have this conversation, Yung. Yeah. Okay. I need to move on because I see time's running out. Thanks, Usha, for reading that. And thanks for the question, Yung. So, okay. Anyway, this is very short. Martin Luther King said something similar. But I just want for you all to see this. I'm sure you're familiar with this. Watch your thoughts, they become your words. Watch your words, they become your actions. Watch your actions, they become your habits. Watch your habits, it becomes character. Watch your character because it becomes your destiny. And if you think about it, when I saw this, I tried to match the strategies of virtues to this. Remember, we say we have the conviction that we all have the potential to do good, you know? So let's watch our thoughts. And then watch our words, language of virtues. Watch our actions, teachable moments, set clear boundary, companioning. Watch our habits, honoring the spirit. And then it becomes our destiny. So really, we use different language, but we are all saying the same thing. This was, I think, quite a while ago, this was created, this phrase. Now, friends, because this is an interfaith group, because we had, we have just explored the virtue of hope, I want to end with showing this video, an interfaith video on hope, and then we can have further questions, if any, okay? So let me just do this. Oops, sorry. Thank you, Colin.
Thank you very much, you at me. That was wonderful and a little bit empowering, because I know when I'm trying to do a little class with a group of children, all I can think of is good or bad. This one's quiet. It's good, but obviously there's much more. And in fact, my sister is a primary school teacher in a school which the whole school adopted the Virtues Project, and it's very empowering for teachers to be able to relate to children in that way. And thank you also for that last little presentation, those quotes from the different religions, because I think I can use that to create another set of readings for our weekly meetings on the theme of hope. We don't have that theme yet. Now, I wonder, you at me, would you mind, for the benefit of a few people have been asking how can they join our interfaith group, and also what's a link
Yeah.
to? Oh, yeah, you've put it there. Good.
I've just posted it.
Good. I don't know if people online watching the live stream could see that, but what it said.
So should I share screen and show them exactly where?
Yeah, could you? Yeah.
Sure, I can do that. Sure, I can do that. I'll share screen and they can take a picture of whatever I'm showing, right?
So you'll be able to find this on YouTube later if you need to.
It's okay. Let me see. Right. So this is the Virtues Project link, and you can see the, it's just virtuesproject.com. Okay, and here you can see what are the virtues, the 5 strategies, what we do, who we serve, the blogs, media, about us. Yeah, and it's the store. Of course, if you want, those of us who want to have some cards, physical cards, there's some physical cards, there are downloadable cards as well. And, amazingly, they've done for parents, for family, for educators. But look at this. They have even created for Baha'is, Buddhists, Catholic versions, multi-faith versions, Catholic Bible, Holy Bible, King James Version, Confucian, First Nation, Hindu, Jewish, Muslim, Sikh, Zoroastrians. So they have created all sorts, and you can buy either the downloadable ones or you can buy the physical ones. The physical ones are quite expensive because you will have to add your taxes and your freight and all that. So downloadable ones are usually better. So anyway, just one more time, I'm going up to the top of the website so they can take a picture of that. It's just virtuesproject.com. Yeah. Okay.
Wonderful, excellent. And for those, a couple of people asking how they can join our WhatsApp group, so you know about upcoming talks. You could email me or Vasantha. What I can do is just share my email address there. So, and I could, and I think the process is we have to get your phone number and add you to the WhatsApp group that way. And if you just look for Interfaith Siva Perry, you'll find the latest talk fairly easily. Well, I want to thank all the participants. You're all very well behaved today, and the questions were good, the comments were good, but the presentation you at me was excellent. It's a wonderful project you've just described to us.
It's my absolute pleasure.
Thank you very much, and thank you, Usha, for introducing.
30 years ago, I returned a whole bundle of virtual cards.
Yes.
To somebody who gifted to me, because I said that you probably need all these virtual cards more than I do. You can use them to train other people, and you probably will need it yourself more than I do. So I returned that lady all the virtual cards that you just mentioned about. So this is like 30 years old, long time ago. So they just met me and they said, okay, I got a gift for you. So I wonder, what's the gift? And then I got gifted with that, and I I just say, oh, that's a nice souvenir, but probably all the children need all these cards more than, you know, like people like, you know, we just pass a hill. We up the
That
hill
was
already.
that was so generous of you, you know, for you to, rather than just discard them or leave them in your drawer, instead you decided to pass it on for it to be used. I think that's amazing. So that's your attitude of service there. Excellent.
I like the cards very much. You know, I would prefer it, but it look like it's so precious.
It is.
Yes.
It is.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jenny.
All right.
Thank you very
Wonderful.
much. Thank you. Thank you for everyone for joining. And next, every week you can use the same link if you want to join Joseph, but I will try to add you in the interfaith group.
I just want to thank my friends. I have amazing friends here. Haven't seen for a long time. I'm not going to call you out, but you know who you are. Thank you for turning up. So lovely to catch up.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All
Yvonne.
right.
Thank you. Thank
Okay,
you.
bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.